This is probably one of the most open videos I've posted to date, but also I think it's one of the more important ones for anyone who's studying GCSEs or A-levels and looking to get into their dream university. For context, last week I got this brown envelope which has my A-level results in them, and that would confirm that because I got 3 A stars and 1 A, I will be studying at Imperial College London in September. I was always planning to make a video about how I got into Imperial, but as I was scripting it, I realised that there was one thing above anything else, above discipline and personal statements and admissions tests and all of that stuff. There was one thing that was absolutely crucial to help me get into Imperial. You need to know this one thing, and that's why I've dedicated a whole video for it. Without this, you won't get anywhere in your academia, let alone in your other goals in your life as well. So I know this video is about me getting into Imperial, but it is really important to start at the beginning, from when I got rejected from Oxford in December last year. I simply didn't get in, although it was my dream university. I've been preparing so long for the MAT, the admissions test for Oxford. I'd even been predicted 4 stars in my A-levels on UCAS, and I still didn't get into Oxford. Opening that email December last year in form time, I still remember this moment. That made me feel so empty for days on end, working so hard for something just to not get in. But I'm so grateful that this has happened and that I've experienced this. Of course, it was horrible in December to have received that email, but now in hindsight, it was an incredible turning point for my application to Imperial. The email in December basically said that I will not be selected for an interview at Oxford. And I'm tempted to say that if I did get an interview, I would not have put in as much effort as I did to prepare for the admission test for Imperial. Of course, I'll be on top of the moon. I've got an interview. Oxford will be my dream university. Of course, I wouldn't put as much effort into getting into Imperial. The thing is, getting an interview is not even guaranteeing a place. It's part of the selection process. So it's very likely that I could have ended up without Oxford and without Imperial at the same time. That for me would have been devastating. I know there are other great universities out there, but I'd always had in mind to go to Oxford or Cambridge or Imperial. That thankfully did not happen, and getting rejected from Oxford really motivated me to push as hard as possible for the admissions test for Imperial Maths, which is a TMUA. So using all of the Oxford prep because the exams are quite similar, then stopping feeling sorry for myself, and then working incredibly hard again, I managed to get into the top 5% of all applicants in the TMUA. After getting those results in February, I kind of knew that I would get an offer from Imperial, and that offer came a few weeks later. Getting rejected from Oxford also made me way more driven to prove myself in my A-levels, and I got 3 A stars and 1 A, as I said earlier. Just as a side note, if you want to know exactly how I got 3 A stars in my A-levels, click the top link in the description, because that will give you a 90-minute masterclass that will create a personalised revision process just for you, for your GCSEs or your A-levels or any admission test that you need to sit. So if you're interested in that, that's the top link in my description. But the thing is, this whole process of getting rejected and bouncing back made me realise one thing. Not all effort is rewarded immediately. Yes, you may not get opportunities that you really dream of. I didn't get into Oxford. I also didn't get head boy when I applied for it at school. Those were opportunities that I really wanted. You may get rejected once or twice or 3 times, hundreds of times. All that matters is how you react. Feeling disappointed and frustrated and upset because you didn't get a certain opportunity is completely normal. I felt all of those emotions when I got rejected from Oxford. But staying disappointed, staying upset, staying frustrated ultimately gets you nowhere. Processing how you feel about being rejected is really important. But part of that processing must include a small plan for you to reduce the chances of you being rejected from the next possible opportunity in the future. So the remainder of this video, I'll go through the small process that has helped me bounce back after being rejected from Oxford, not doing well in my MAT admissions test, or just any other failure or rejection that you may experience. The first part is to just realise that you feel disappointed or sad or angry or frustrated, whatever you feel when it comes to being rejected or failing in a certain way. You should take time to process how you feel, of course, but when you are ready, it may take a couple of days, a couple of weeks, maybe even up to a month. When you're ready, after you process that emotion, all you have to do is to look for what is next. In my case, I got rejected from Oxford in December. It took me about a week to get over it fully. What was next for me was the admissions test for Imperial, the TMUA, as I said earlier. That was the next opportunity on my horizon, and I know that I need to give 100% for that opportunity to do as well as possible. But one thing people don't often do is to reflect on that failure or rejection that started this whole process off. I realised that when I got rejected from Oxford, it wasn't really the end of the world. Although it was a massive hit to my mood and my progress, realistically, I had done so much prep, so much work for it, so that all the other admissions tests will appear 10 times easier. The amount of maths I did, the amount of multiple choice questions I did, the amount of time practice I did just to prepare for the MAT, the Oxford exam, would help me for that Imperial exam. So reframing all the skills, the mindsets, the achievements you got from being rejected or failing, and then taking that into your next opportunity, that will give you a bit of a boost. You've done so much work before. Yes, it may not have always have worked, but you've done work that has the capability to provide a lot of progress for you. And the final thing that you need to do after you realise all of this is to put in as much effort as possible into that next thing to reduce the amount of chance of you failing or being rejected again. And yeah, I feel like this is one of the most important videos that I have put out there to date, solely because not many people talk about this when they're applying for university. Loads of people get into Oxford, loads of people get into Cambridge, but way more get rejected from those universities. People don't often realise how much of a toll it places on you, on your moods and how you feel. But it's really important that it doesn't affect you for too long, as it didn't affect me for too long, solely because I bounced back from that failure properly using the process I've given in this video. But yes, I'm still going to Imperial. I know this video is about me getting rejected and how I use that to bounce back. I'm still going to Imperial. I still did incredibly well in my A-levels. And if you want to know exactly how I did it, as I mentioned before in the video, the top link in the description is a link to my 90-minute masterclass that will give you your personalized revision process in under 90 minutes, alongside opportunities for one-to-one support, loads of resources, and an exclusive community too. So if you're interested in that, that's top link in my description, and I'll see you in the next video.